Well, whether it's a trade up, trade down, you name it, Adam Schefter has put out the news on the Philadelphia Eagles and what he thinks they will do in this draft. It's going to be really interesting. We're going to be talking about a wide receiver that has been linked to the Philadelphia Eagles. And Ruben Frank gives us pretty much some background information on the Eagles, Dallas Goedert, what is going on with this, and a lot more. So let's talk about it all.
A killer buried, but not dead.
Darren, we better turn around. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. This video is sponsored by BetUS, so definitely go check them out if you guys have not. So, first thing I want to go over here is some news from Adam Schefter on what he thinks the Eagles are going to do. Now, Adam Schefter does say that he guarantees, quote unquote, will guarantee that the Philadelphia Eagles will make a trade or two during the 25 NFL draft, okay? I'm wondering from this roster right now if there will be some trade bait players that will be on the move, especially Dallas Goedert. I think we have to keep an eye on that because since nothing has happened yet, we'll be talking more about that in this video. We talked about specific situations where if a certain position group goes first and a lot of those type of positional players are going, Howie Roseman might move up in this draft to kind of start the mold on a new position, getting the best player from that new position. So it's going to be really interesting. Yes, I mean, the Eagles have 4 fifth-round picks right now, and they're not drafting 4 guys in the 5th round. Howie Roseman, up and down this draft, is going to be trading up, trading back. And let me tell you something, whether the Eagles use draft picks for 26 and they have 12 draft picks as of right now, they can't touch the comp picks because the Eagles aren't rewarded those picks yet. The pick for Hassan Reddick they could do because that's a conditional pick, and that actually counts for the Eagles if they want to use that 3rd round conditional at 26 for some trade up ammo or something like that if that's what they want to do. But with that 32nd pick, it's going to be really interesting because even if the Eagles either trade up for a specific player, they wait at 32, or they trade back, there's going to be a lot of teams calling the Eagles at 32 to trade up for a specific player. Okay. And if the Eagles aren't getting a 1st round pick for 26, and I'm telling you right now, Howie Roseman has to rob a team, fleece a team for somebody to trade up to that 32nd pick. Okay. They have to give us their 1st rounder for 26. I'm not even kidding. And trust me, Howie Roseman is not going to let that pick go in a trade back unless it's really valuable. Because let me tell you, you get a 1st round pick for 26, they'll have 2 1st round picks, and a boatload of other picks. That's the only reason why I trade back here. We've given the example of in this draft, 32, it's dead last of the 1st round, but it's the most exciting because there's build up to this board now where every time we watch a player go to a team, we're going to say, we're going to be holding our breath to make sure it's not a specific player. And obviously we're going to be, losing on some players because the Eagles can't move up tremendously. They can't move up all the way to 15. They can't move up to 10, maybe to 20, but it's going to cost you a lot of draft compensation. It's going to cost you a lot of draft capital to move up very deep early into the 1st round from 32. So just say like edge rusher DTs go really early from mid-teens to early 20s. Howie Roseman might say, let's get the best safety. If no safety has been picked yet, they can go move up for the best safety in this draft. Like I feel like Howie Roseman is going to start. He's going to trade up to start the trend of a specific position to go off the board. That's what I think he's going to do. And we're not even just talking about 1st round. We're talking 2nd. We're talking mid-rounds. The 4, 5th round picks, and obviously you're not going to sit there. You're not going to draft 4 guys there. So you're going to trade one of those picks back for a pick next year. You're going to trade up. You're going to maneuver and do some things. So the Eagles got some ammo. You might not think they don't have a lot of ammo, but you got picks for next year. And obviously I don't see him using that many picks. Maybe they take a pick from next year into a trade up possibility, kind of give some flavor to a trade up if that's what they want to do. But this isn't surprising news of them moving up. They'll move up, they'll trade back, they'll make some trades. Howie Roseman is always wheeling and dealing, going up and down the draft board. So we'll find out what happens. But the one thing I want to find out the next couple weeks of what teams around the league feel where the Eagles are going. Okay, last year, teams literally on draft night, and this has only happened on draft night, okay, early in the draft, okay, where it seems that a lot of teams knew the Eagles had a lot of interest in cornerback because usually Howie Roseman is on the phones with other teams, kind of knows what they want, kind of, some teams trust each other, some GMs don't. They keep everything a big secret, but all these GMs start to get a feel of what these other teams are, what their big wants, what their needs are, and who they're really aiming for. So I know I'm kind of long on this subject, but it's really important, man. As we get closer to the draft, we're going to find out a lot more, and it's going to be really exciting. It's going to be interesting. So we'll find out what happens with that. Now, the Eagles have been linked to a wide receiver. I have no idea. Does this hold water? I don't know. And it sounds ridiculous. Okay. You're going to say, Joe, why are we even talking about this? So, NFL Rumors put out a tweet saying the Eagles have been linked to Dolphins' Tyreek Hill, that apparently has been wanting to get traded from Miami. I don't think he's a free agent, unless I'm wrong. I think he's still in Miami on contract still. To me, I really don't see any. I don't know why this is even a possibility here. Okay. Tyreek Hill wants to be a starter. He's not going to be a situational wide receiver for certain downs. He's not going to be the number 3 and use him on the inside. I mean, maybe, I don't know, but I just don't see that happening. Tyreek Hill's been a weird player for me to watch. Like, really, since he left KC, there's been quarterback struggles. There's been injuries. There's just been struggles, period. Miami they just haven't really, really been on their mark the last few years. They've had some good off seasons, and then they've, haven't really matched on paper what they do in the regular season, unfortunately. So Tyreek Hill coming to the Eagles would be interesting. I don't, unless they didn't want Jahan Dotson on this team. But let me tell you something, Jahan Dotson, respect that man. Respect that man, because let me tell you something. Because if you don't have Jahan Dotson on this team right now, AJ Brown can't move to the inside. Devontae Smith can't move to the inside. Okay. Look at the respect that Jahan Dotson got in that Super Bowl. They respect his speed. They played off ball. I mean, they tried to play off ball a little bit, but he's a first round talent, man. Jahan Dotson has got a lot of value in Philadelphia, especially at wide receiver. Okay. He's the main reason why these receivers are allowed to move all over the place, because you could put Jahan Dotson on the outside and you could do whatever you want with anybody else. Okay. And we know, Jahan Dotson, I think the biggest thing with Jahan Dotson is they gave him really not a lot of opportunities during the season because he got here really late, like right before the first game. Okay. And because they didn't use him that much in the regular season, they get to the playoffs and they started to, throw some passes to him, even the Green Bay Packers touchdown, a couple passes and that, you know what I mean? So because teams don't see specific guys on film, you could take advantage of that if you don't use a player too much and has all the talent in the world. And they did that in the Super Bowl and it worked fantastically. The last time we heard an NFL rumor tweet was the Kenny Pickett trade. A couple weeks after the Super Bowl, right before free agency, there was rumors about Kenny Pickett being traded, and the news kind of went dead after that. Okay, it went totally dead, and we didn't really hear much. And then what happened? Kenny Pickett got traded for the Browns. We got the Dorian, the Browns backup quarterback, a 5th-round pick with him coming to the Eagles. So it's just weird. Sometimes you'll hear about a trade rumor, and then like all of a sudden it just happens. Tyreek Hill coming to the Eagles, man. For me, it makes no sense. He's not coming here as a depth player. He's making too much money. I'm really not even really a fan, to be honest, because he's never going to take a backup role. And I want Jahan Dotson to stay here because he's only making his cap number is like $3.5 million. I mean, it's not that much. It's nothing. Whether it's $3 to $4 million. I mean, he's against the cap. It's literally nothing. Okay. For Jahan to prove himself this year, and maybe we'll get a contract somewhere else after this year. We'll see what happens. But why would the Eagles have any interest in Tyreek Hill if Tyreek Hill wants to be a full-time starter? I mean, you have AJ Brown, you have Devontae Smith. He just doesn't fit in what we do right now. Okay, just doesn't really fit in what we're doing. If we were down a receiver or something like that, all right, I get it. If Devontae Smith had an injury from last year to this year and he's going to be out for a few months, okay, maybe I get that. But wide receiver is the last position I'm even really trying to talk about today. But I just want to put this up because God forbid, you never know what could happen. And then you see a trade go down. It makes no sense. Tyreek Hill is there. And I'm just questioning why they're even linked to why he's even linked to the Eagles. So we'll find out what happens with this at the beat time. Okay. Now, Reuben Frank had some things to talk about Dallas Goedert. Yes, I know. Talking about Dallas Goedert as of right now, it's like beating a dead horse. It's like literally running in circles and going nowhere because that's pretty much what's been going on. Okay, Dallas Goedert, the Eagles told Dallas Goedert to go out and find a trade partner, and we haven't seen anything yet. No guaranteed money on this contract. The tight ends are getting paid like crazy. Trey McBride got paid a lot of money, I think, with the Arizona Cardinals, and $43 million a year is really the highest number right now for tight ends, and Dallas Goedert could be asking for that. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes right now. I mean, is there a plan to re-sign him to a one-year deal? It doesn't seem like it. From the way they talked about it at the owners' meetings, Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman, it didn't seem promising the way they were talking. They almost were mimicking the same words. Like, they said almost the same thing. They never even said that he was going to come back. They just said he's a great player and all the PR terms they used in these press conferences. But it just doesn't seem like Dallas Goedert's even coming back at all. So he says, listening to Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni at the owners' meetings, it sure sounds like Dallas Goedert's already gone. And I think that's the truth, man. I think it's already done. The Eagles want a fourth-round pick. Maybe they want a higher pick. I mean, look, if they can get a high pick for him, that'd be great. If they can just try to get let me tell you something. If they can get a third-round pick for him, I'd be really happy. You know what I mean? I understand he's missing 5 to 8 games a year, so, teams are kind of like, But you have to watch out, too, because if he's got it's going to be a lot easier to trade Dallas Goedert because he has no more guaranteed money on his deal anymore. It's going to be so much easier to trade him now, and that's one thing that people forget. So he could be big trade bait, huge trade bait, okay, on draft day. So you want to sprinkle in a Dallas Goedert and a big trade up, you could do that here, okay? Anything could happen at this point. And the Eagles can get more draft capital for next year or this year. Whatever the pick is, I don't even care if the pick's for this year, 26, 27. And I agree with Reuben Frank because I said the exact same thing from the owners' meetings. They sounded like they were just it sounded like Goddard's not even coming back. You sign 4 tight ends, 2 in free agency, 2 to future contracts for the offseason program. It already seems like they're moving on. Okay, he's 30 years old, no guaranteed money. We'll see what happens, but it's going to be an interesting ride. The Eagles are definitely going to get something for him, whether it's before the draft, during the draft, or it will be an after-draft trade. We'll see what happens. And lastly, Travon Walker. It looks like the Jaguars have finally came to their senses. If you guys didn't know, I think a few weeks ago, the Jaguars put out news that they were fielding offers for Travon Walker. Obviously, they've already paid one of their edge rushers so far, and it looks like they are picking up Travon Walker's 5th-year option. Okay, nobody's trading for Travon Walker for a reason. Now, before free agency started, we talked about a Travon Walker trade because we didn't know what the market was going to look like for edge rushers. So if you want to get a trade done early, go get it done, but you would have to pay Travon Walker. You would have to give up that 32nd pick. Okay, and because these edge rushers are getting paid so much money right now, after free agency, I had no interest in trading for Travon Walker after free agency. Before I did, now I don't because it's just too expensive. God knows what you're going to have to give up for him, and then you got to pay him. It's like, no, there's no way. $30+ million to $40 million, $30 to $40 million a year. I mean, whatever he's looking for, I don't know. So it seemed like the Jaguars probably didn't get any offers. Maybe they did, but it just wasn't enough. I mean, who wants to trade for an edge rusher right now? Not me. And obviously, after getting to know a lot of these prospects in this draft, I want to stay the hell away from trading for an edge rusher. So I think these edge rushers are going to go very early in this draft to, late teens, early 20s. I think pass rushers are going to go off the board like wildfire because nobody wants to pay the price. Nobody wants to. Okay, it's already enough that Jalen Carter is probably going to get paid $40+ million as a DT. They'll probably give him edge money. It'll be a lot bigger than that, most likely. So we're going to see what that contract's going to look like. But obviously, he's a different position. But nobody wants to pay this value right now for edge rushers. It's too much money, man. I wouldn't even touch this. So the 5th-year option is picked up. The Jaguars are picking that up, and that's really it. Just want to give an update on Travon Walker because people have been talking about him a little bit. But if you're looking for an edge rusher right now, the Eagles' last thing that they should do is go for an edge rusher in a trade that needs to get paid, or a young guy. No, it's not going to happen. You rather go out there and go draft a guy between the first and second rounds, first day to second day, if that's what they really want to do. So we'll see what happens with that. And make sure you check out the Philly Shakedown podcast merch as well, because we have Hurts merch that's absolutely amazing. You have to check out the champion shirt. Definitely go check it out. In a lot of sizes. You have to check out the main thing t-shirt, the big moment in the hallway after the Super Bowl. Go check it out. Comes in t-shirts and hoodies, all that great stuff. And if you bought some stuff, do appreciate it. Go check it out. Link in the description for all of that. But other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. Okay, we talked about Adam Schefter. The Eagles could be trading up a couple times, not once, twice. Their Eagles are going to be maneuvering in this draft, which isn't very surprising. Tyreek Hill, does it make any sense? I don't know. We've heard Reuben Frank's stance on Dallas Goedert, which I pretty much said this at when I was listening to the owners' meetings between Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman, and he seems to be on the same page with how I'm kind of feeling about the situation. And we talked about Travon Walker as well, as the Jaguars are picking up his 5th-year option. But other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. Guys, enjoyed the content, please subscribe to the channel. Cover the Eagles every single day, and definitely hit the like button because it helps out tremendously. And the draft is not getting here fast enough. The time needs to speed up a little bit here. So you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you guys on the next one. Shakes well, follow slide. Peace out, guys. Peace.